ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Once Human video. Today we are covering the Little Jaws SMG. The way you get this weapon, you go to Wish Machine, Blueprint Shop, SMG Blueprint. You can buy it from either here. I'm not sure if you can really get this weapon in PVE server through different categories. In PvP server, there's no category for this gun. The only way to get this gun is from Echoes from the Rift, which is this. Although, just remember when you roll from Echoes from the Rift, there's so many weapons included in here. You can basically get all the weapons available from the game from Echoes from the Rift, except it's very RNG, so you might not be able to get it from here. So best option is to just buy it from the Wish Machine directly for 8,000 Starchrome. Now, I do not own this blueprint. As you can see, it's not owned. I ain't got no Starchrome. If you use this weapon, you will need this explosive front top. You can see what it does is it gives delay 0.3 seconds and unstable bomber 30%. Now, if you do use Little Jaws, then this will not work. Shaman Walter top, and then the sleek leather jacket will also not work. This armor piece is strictly made just for the SMG, just because of the delay it has. So let's click O, click Blueprints, SMG, and now let's go through the Little Jaws on how it works. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll try my best to explain it to you guys. So if we take a look right now, hitting 15 times the enemy, I will trigger Unstable Bomber. So look at this. If I hit in the chest, on the bottom, above my health bar, you can see the numbers increasing. So if I shoot one more bullet, it's gonna explode. Boom. Just like that. You can see that it doesn't explode instantly. Boom. It has a delay. So if we click O, Blueprints again, Unstable Bomber delay is plus 0.3 seconds. Let's actually go right click any weapon, click details, click X on keyboard, and we're gonna go through quickly what is Unstable Bomber. So it triggers one status damage blast of 100 psi intensity after 0.1 seconds. So that 0.1 second is the default delay without any delays added to the gun. So if you use the Jaws pistol, for example, after you trigger Unstable Bomber, it's always going to explode after 0.1 second. And the blast radius is 1.5 meters. The damage decays over the explosion distance down to a minimum of 50%. So if you were doing 20,000 damage, it's going to be 10,000 damage over distance. And the additional damage is blast, it cannot crit, blah, blah, blah. So if we compared this gun to the Jaws pistol, the big difference of it is that the Jaws pistol triggers Unstable Bomber every 4 hits, and crit hits count as 1 hit. Actually, I don't know if it's 1 hit or 2 hits, but I think the description is wrong again here. So basically, Unstable Bomber on the pistol can crit, while on the SMG, it cannot crit. So let's go through the Unstable Bomber delay. What does that mean? So this gun adds 0.3 seconds of delay. The default explosion, as we already saw, we read through that, it's 0.1 seconds. So we have a total of 0.4 seconds of delay. Since we're talking about delay, I'm going to quickly go through the armor here. So this armor adds another 0.3 seconds delay, which in total is 0.7 seconds of delay. So you might be wondering, what the hell is this delay? The delay is basically, again, when you're about to trigger, you know, the bomb. Let's actually reload the gun. On 15 hits, we shoot, and as you can see, it's delayed. When hitting enemies affected by Unstable Bomber, the current Unstable Bomber final damage is plus 10%. So this basically just means as soon as you hit that 15 bullet right here, boom, now the enemy is affected by Unstable Bomber, and as soon as it's affected, any bullet that you do after the enemy is affected by the bomb, it will increase your Unstable Bomber damage by 10%. So take a look at this. We're gonna hit 14 bullets, reload the gun quick. I'm gonna shoot exactly in the head and look at the damage. It's gonna be around 50k. There you go. You saw how that was 50k, and the other explosion was very low in damage. That is because we did not get to hit bullets during that delay. Let's try it again. As you saw, that was 66, 68k. So if you shoot in the body when the enemy is affected by Unstable Bomber, you will do only 10% damage for every bullet you hit. But as we saw, weak spot hits double the damage increase. So if instead of the body, if you hit the head, you will do 20% damage total, because 10% of that damage is doubled by 2, which means 20%. Let's talk about the fire rate of this gun. We have 1,000 fire rate of this gun. Since we're using a mod that increases our fire rate by 10%, the gun's fire rate now instead is 1,100. So if we quickly calculate that, 1,100 divided by 60, we get to shoot 18 bullets per second. And then on top of that, since our armor adds 0.3 seconds of delay, the gun's passive is 0.3 seconds delay. And then the default delay is 0.1 seconds. We sum that up to 0.7 seconds. And then, of course, we take that 1100 divided by 60, and then we multiply it by 0.7. We get to shoot around 13 bullets. So basically, the delay is just, that's how many bullets we'll be able to shoot in around 0.7 seconds. So about 13-ish bullets. Not really sure, maybe 12 or 13 bullets. But basically, what this means is that you'll get to shoot 12 bullets during that delay. So when you proc Unstable Bomber, you know, you get to 14 bullets and then you start shooting after that. You'll be able to shoot 12 bullets, which means if you did shoot in the head, that would be 20 times multiplied by 12 bullets. That would be 240% Unstable Bomber damage increase. That's why we're doing so much blast damage to them. So basically, one bullet hit during the delay will give you 10% damage to the body. One bullet hit in the head during the delay will give you 20% damage increase. So if you hit 12 bullets in the body, that will be 120% Unstable Bomber damage increase. And if you hit in the head, that will be 240% damage increase, which is, god damn it, that's kind of nuts. And then for every 0.1 seconds of Unstable Bomber delay, Unstable Bomber damage plus 20%. So what this is, that's another thing. That is basically giving you more damage just for having more delay. So for example, now if I remove this top, you can see that this top gives us 0.3 seconds of delay. It also gives us Unstable Bomber damage 30%, but the delay itself gives us, so we have 0.7 seconds of Unstable Bomber delay, right? And since it gives us 20% for 0.1 seconds of delay, so we just do 20 multiplied by 7 and we will get a 140% damage increase for having that 0.7. Now, if I remove this top, we will lose 60% damage increase because the delay 0.3 is 60% converted. So take a look at this in the head. If we shoot right now, we do 58k damage. If I unequip this armor real quick, we will do 25k. You see how much damage we lose? That is because of the delay loss. So this top for this gun is strictly needed. It's literally the only key part you can use for this gun. But yeah, this gun is a little bit confusing at the start once you get into it, but after like a couple days, you'll understand how this gun works. I tried my best to explain it. If you guys have any questions, join my Discord. I'll try better. So we're gonna go through the gear we're using for this gun. Let's start off with the calibration we are using. So we're using heavy style, magazine capacity plus 60% and reload speed minus 30%. And we're using elemental damage for this gun. If we go to accessory, we're using a blue mag. Now honestly, you could use a gold mag. You'll have more ammo in the magazine. It doesn't really matter for this gun. You can use either the blue mag or the gold mag. For the accessories, all the accessories don't really matter. It's personal preference what you use. So feel free to just use whatever and see whatever works the best for you. Honestly, for this SMG, you would want more accuracy though, because it's very inaccurate as this SMG fires so fast. We're gonna go through the mods we're using for this gun. So these mods that I'm using are very terrible. What do you really want to go for on the gun itself is you want to go for talent. Talent is what gives you elemental damage in the first slot, and instead of weapon damage, we will get status damage. And for the damage bonuses, you can get whatever. In the pinned comments, I will provide a full list of mods, or in the description, you'll be able to see full list of mod drops, and you'll be able to see full list of substat drops in silos in that mod sheet. So, but yeah, for the gun you want talent, not violent, not precision, just talent. This, I basically farmed Treant like 50 times. I cannot seem to get a good mod. All of these supercharged mods that I'm getting are precision or violent. Then keep in mind, again, this gun doesn't work like the Jaws pistol. It doesn't benefit from crit at all. If you did use crit for this weapon, then it only would benefit for the bullet itself, but not Unstable Bomber. So for the second pistol, you can use whatever. Honestly, this gun would be cancer to combine with Icy Rain, because basically, let's say if in PvP, for example, like if you did use Icy Rain and people just freeze enemies for you and then you just shoot them with the little jaws. So let's say you have like 3 to 4 people stuck in the Frost Vortex and then you just swap to that Unstable Bomber gun and you just bomb them all. I mean, with that damage amount, you probably will one-shot them. Maybe it'll do like 10k damage blast, but not, you know, 30k. So maybe they'll be left with 1 HP, but that could be an option. Anyways, for the mod that we are using on the helmet is you have to use Deviation Expert because that will give you more fire rate plus 10% and will give you 20% status damage. For the substats, you need element damage, you need status damage, and that's all that matters. Just talents everywhere for this gun. For the mask, we're using a delayed blast, and this mod is just basically specifically made for this gun. There's no other mod that you can use because the other mods that we have are basically made for the Jaws pistol instead. So you could be using point detonation, which is this. When unstable bomber hits only one enemy, unstable bomber final damage is 25% increase, right? But when we take a look at delayed blast, what this does is, before the bomb explodes, for every 5 hits taken, the bomb's ultimate damage is plus 25%. So basically, once you trigger or proc the bomb, you have 0.7 seconds to shoot 12 bullets, right? So we'll be able to hit only 12 bullets. That means only the 10 bullets that we hit matter. And once you hit the 10 bullets, once you proc the unstable bomber on the enemy, we will get a 50% damage increase. This is why this mod is better, and this is why this point detonation is worse. Delayed blast is the only option you have for the SMG. There's nowhere else. Just that, I'm literally telling you, this is the best option. You also again want elemental damage, status damage on the substats. Going again through the gloves, you have to either use elemental overload, which gives you 18% elemental damage. As a substat, you want elemental damage again and status damage. Now, status enhancement mod is better than the elemental. If we take a look at this, status enhancement gives you 20% and elemental gives you 18%. The difference between these two is there's no difference. They're both the same, except that elemental gives you 2% less, while status gives you 2% more. And obviously use the mod that has better substats. So for example, I have the best substats on the elemental overload. It gives me elemental damage and status damage. 8% plus 4, 8%, that's 12.8% total elemental and status damage increase. And then on top of that, the core stat gives us 18%. That is a total increase of 30.8% damage. While the status enhancement, I don't have good mods for it. You can see that this one is 20, and then the substat is 3.2%. So that's total 23.2% damage increase. I don't have a status enhancement that is better than the elemental overload. So just use whatever you have the best available. If you get status enhancement with really high elemental damage and status damage, use that because status enhancement will be better. But yeah, that's the mods for the gloves. For the shoes, we're using covered advance. Again, for the substats, you want to get elemental damage and status damage. If you're playing in PVE server, by the way, I still advise to use the substats obtained from pro silos. If you do Nightmare Prime Wars, just remember that the mods you get are specific for a gun. So if you get Power Surge mods, then these mods will work only for Power Surge and not Unstable Bomber or anything else. But yeah, covered advance for the shoes. Substats, elemental damage, and status damage. Important, needed. Cannot be precision, cannot be violent, it just needs to be talent. Talent prefix or suffix. For the top piece, we're just using a status damage increase, 12%. There's nothing else you can put here. The way you get blue mods is click your map and go to the tier 3 area. This is tier 3 area, Iron River. Go to Iron River, TP over here, go to this POI, loot crates there, loot crates in the monolith, loot crates in here, loot crates in here, and just do, you know, routes like boom, 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 circle around. Chest reset every 4 hours, get your gear crates. You basically want to get status enhancement with elemental. Pretty sure there has to be elemental substat. But honestly, speaking about the talents suffix on this blue mod, I have actually never seen one. This is the only one that has C talents on it. So I'm pretty sure on every single mod in the game you can get talents. There's no such mod that doesn't exist, that doesn't have talents on it. If you cannot find it, you're probably just very unlucky. That's why you would have to keep farming and grinding over and over, looting these crates until you get that elemental damage as a substat, you know? But yeah, if you're curious about the substats and everything, this is like in this mod sheet that I provide, this shows what's the best rolls you can get on your mods when grinding. And now for the pants, we're using a status amplification. When the magazine is empty, status damage plus 10% for 12 seconds. Effect can stack up to 3 stacks. So if you just keep reloading your gun over and over and over, so the magazine has to be empty when you reload the gun. So you can see that if I right now reload my gun on 11 bullets, we won't get that buff. you would have to reload the gun on 0 bullets. So what would be better than the status amplification that we're using here is the precision charge, which for every 10% weak spot hit rate of the previous magazine, elemental damage 4% up to 24%, lasting for 10 seconds. Reloading resets the calculation. Basically, if you hit the weak spots, you know, your damage is going to be increased. And then when you reload the gun, boom, you get 24% damage increase. And look at that damage. We're doing 74,000. Now we're shooting in the head, remember? So when you shoot in the head, you get double the damage for the blast. If we shoot in the body, the damage is going to be way lower. So the better mod option would be precision charge for this gun. Now honestly, use whatever is more available to you. If you don't have precision charge, then use the status amplification, which is this. If you do have precision charge, use that over the status. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the mods. Now let's cover the armor we are using for this. I'm using 3 shelter pieces, and we're gonna get 8% elemental damage increase once you wear 2 parts. And then each weapon hit grants 1 stack of deviant energy. Every stack of deviant energy grants plus 1% elemental damage, and it stacks up to 20 times. And reloading removes half of the stacks. So if you shoot the enemy, you know, 20 times, you can see on the bottom left, next to my health bar, it's 20 stacks now. If I reload, we lose that 50% stacks. So instead of 20, we get 10. And then if you reload again, it's going to go to 5 or 6. There you go, it's 5. Basically, as soon as you reload, your stacks get halved. So if I shoot again, we stack it to 20 times. And when your stacks are 20, you know, you just have that 20% damage increase. Honestly, if you use this gun, I think the best option would be just go 4 shelter pieces, and that will basically increase your stacks by 10. And when you hit weak spots with this, you will just stack more when shooting the weak spots. Now, I wonder, would it be better to go for 4 shelter pieces, or would it be just better to just go for heavy duty, which would just basically give you 8% damage? Now, if you did use 2 heavy duty pieces and then 3 shelter pieces, then that would be basically 28% damage increase for elemental damage. And that 8% you get from the heavy duty is always there, you know? While with the 4 shelter pieces, you would have to stack it up and fire like 5 shots to get 10 stacks. So I think heavy duty 2 pieces might be better for this gun, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys use, what kind of setup you use. Lastly, let's cover the cradle, what we're using. Simple buffs. I mean, we need 20% damage for the SMGs. Deviation expert, 50% more damage when summoning your deviation. Then we have tactical combo. Weapon damage is increased for 25% when reloading or swapping. Status enhancement, increasing 25% status damage when you hit headshots. And then we have, lastly, first round blast. You will gain 25% unstable bomber damage when reloading for 4 seconds. And then lastly, if you use steady hand, you could be using this. And if you PVE, so then you could use Volt Fire as a support weapon. So right now, I'm going to shoot this dummy. We do 403. And I'm going to shoot it with my pistol. And then we're going to swap. As you can see, we do 537 damage with our SMG now. So this pistol, Volt Fire, could be used as a support weapon. If you don't like using this crossbow to mark enemies, then just, you can stick with the Volt Fire. You know, quickly mark enemies, and then your blast damage to the enemy will be way higher. The thing is, you have to use a vulnerability amplifier on the pistol, so instead of 8%, we will be getting 16% damage increase when marking enemies. And as soon as you mark the enemy with the pistol, boom, 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 you know, you trigger the bullseye, the enemy is going to be marked blue. You will see like a debuff below the enemy's health bar. Then you can just basically rain bullets just like this and explode everything in the way. Now, obviously, this gun is going to be amazing for clearing groups of enemies, but however, for bossing, it might be a problem because we're basically we're going all in our damage for just status damage, but the bullet damage, which is the weapon damage bonus, crit damage, weak spot damage, crit rate gets left out. So the SMG is not going to do that much damage to the bosses, as we're really relying on the explosion damage. Summon the deviation, there you go. So we should be doing around 110k damage, I think, or maybe like 105k. Yeah, 115k with unbuffed. We're doing 108k with the deviation. So we probably could do way more, but I'm not buffed. I'm not gonna bother buffing for this. Yeah, so if we buffed up, we probably would do like 180k damage or something. I don't know. But the deviations that I used do not give us, you know, a special damage. Like, for example, let me just unequip this. So we have, let's say, Pyro Dino, right? It increases target blaze damage received by 30%. So there's a deviation that increases the blast damage on them, which I click on evolutions called Novas, season info features. I'm pretty sure the Shattered Maiden is this one. What it does, it says is that it fears and makes enemies freeze, but pretty sure that this deviation has a special attribute which increases blast damage by 30% when you shoot enemies. So this would be the best deviation to use for this pistol in PvE. Now you might be asking me, is this gun good for PvP? And I would say not really. Time to kill with this weapon will be very low and you're literally relying on the bomb damage. I would say that this gun would be good for wars only if you combine it with a icy rain. So let's say someone just, uses icy rain, they gather people in the frost vortex thing, and then someone whips out their little jaws and bombs everyone in the circle. That would be good for that. But for duels, for 1v1s, this gun might not be good. The best option for unstable bomber, if you want to go, just go with the Jaws pistol. That will be 100 times better than this SMG. The SMG is strictly for PvE, I would say, so that's just my opinion. I mean, I cannot see myself using this SMG in PvP when other people are running these insane cancer builds, that one-tap you and stuff. Like, you literally, in PvP, you die in 1 or 2 seconds at max. So it would probably take you like 5 or 6 seconds to kill someone with this SMG. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Soon we will be, completing the tier list for the weapons. I still haven't tested this crossbow here. If someone has this legendary crossbow unlocked, join my Discord, let me know please and thank you. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.